Hi. I broke chapter 16 of this book, Recovering Biblical Manhood and Womanhood. The chapter is Biological Basis for Gender-Specific Behavior. I broke it into two parts here. So this next section describes differences in the limbic system, which basically means the brain activity that responds kind of involuntarily to certain stimulus. So listen to this one. Maternal aggression, described as females responding to impending danger or harm to their offspring, is common to mammals. This response, which is particularly strong during lactation, may be facilitated by prolactin, the hormone causing milk production. It may also facilitate maternal instinct and bonding. This may explain why mothers are often more protective and aggressive in intervening on a child's behalf than fathers. Female infant bonding appears to be innate. The baby's cries triggers involuntary responses in the mother, such as oxytocin secretion, nipple erection, and pupil dilation. There are no such responses in males, and male bonding is likely a learned response. Maternal instinct may be related to this center, which enhances bonding and protection of young. Such bonding may be important in later social development and learning skills. Mothers show more stress when infants are cared for at daycare or by multiple caregivers than fathers. A mother may be better equipped to form this important bond due to centers in her brain. When cradling a baby, mothers tend to use the left arm, positioning the baby's ear over the aorta and strongest heartbeat. Babies likely imprint on the mother's heartbeat during gestation and derive comfort from it. We are now engaged in a large-scale experiment with significant numbers of mothers enlisting daycare for their infants. We have relatively little information on the importance of bonding and maternal contact to social and intellectual development, but some reports suggest that it is an important factor. This next part is sex differences in cerebral organization. Okay, let's see. Said it was found that the bridge of nerve fibers and processes between the two hemispheres, known as the corpus callosum, was significantly larger and contained more nerve fibers in females. The difference was found at all ages of females. Embryonic nerve cells grow in cell culture, produce more dendritic processes in the presence of estrogen than in the presence of testosterone. They also make connection with more neighboring cells. This fact may explain why there are more nerve fibers or processes through the corpus callosum connecting the two hemispheres. The female center nervous system may have more interconnections and more networking of nerve fibers. It appears from all of the above data that women are generally capable of receiving and meaningfully processing more sensory nerve input. Because their nerves interact with more neighboring nerves, they are able to integrate more sensory and stored memory information to derive more complete analysis and assessment of a particular circumstance. It has been suggested, as an example, that if a male and female were both interviewing a potential new employee, the male might become very focused and engrossed in his line of questioning and the accuracy or clarity of responses, while a female would not only process the conversation, but also the mannerisms, facial expressions, facial color, dress, hygiene, and many other clues or cues to personality and temperament. The woman would come away from the same 1-hour interview with a much more in-depth and complete assessment of the candidate and his suitability for the job. This might in fact be what has for years been called woman's intuition. It may be simply women's ability to process, evaluate, and respond to more immediate, simultaneous stimuli. A biological argument for the purpose of this ability of females to capture more stimuli would be that in the role of child rearing, there is great advantage in being able to receive and process multiple stimuli in order to monitor multiple children and other social contacts. It may explain how she is able to talk on the phone, write a note, continue to mix the appropriate ingredients into a batch of cookies all at the same time. This kind of stimulus simultaneous activity appears to be more difficult for men, although I'm not that great at that part of it. It is interesting here. Males with their more lateralized brains tend to have thought processing more regionally isolated and discrete, with fewer interconnecting nerve interactions and perhaps more straightforward, quick reactions to important stimuli. This would be a strategy more conducive to the hunter, tracker, and builder. It may also be conducive to categorical thinking. It could allow more uninterrupted processing of visual spatial data in the right hemisphere and computational analysis in the left, which could lead to a slight math advantage in males. The more lateralized male brain would be expected to be more single-minded, focused, less distractible, and perhaps less socially aware. Okay, let's see. Then there's a portion here about sex differences at birth. It says the differences are present at birth. Female infants have been noted to orient and fix their focus more often on faces, are comforted by voices and touch, and vocalize more often than boys. They respond earlier to smells and sounds. Female infants, on the average, learn to talk sooner. When learning to draw, tend to draw people subjects. Male infants orient more to objects, lights, and toys, and are comforted more by patterned mobiles and ticking clocks. They develop speech later, draw objects more than faces, and learn three-dimensional drawing faster. It's all very interesting. Okay, what else do they have here? I think he just concludes by saying, Our culture has changed, and the demands for traditional roles may have varied, yet our basic, God-given physiological differences have not. We excel at different gifts, and all the gifts are needed. Let us hope that by recognizing the existence of gender differences, we can better understand each other and help to maximize each other's potentials. Likewise, by accepting our God-given gifts, we can resist cultural pressures to become what we are not, and to seek to master gifts we don't possess. So this made me think of a particular scripture, Psalm 139:14. So I just wanted to read that to you. That was my kind of takeaway from what I found to be a fascinating, if hard to read, chapter. 139 of Psalm, verse 14. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. So that's what sprung to my mind on reading this chapter. I'm going to link to the second video in the series from this book, Recovering Biblical Manhood and Womanhood, which was called This Book is Even More Essential in This Day of Obsession with Sex and Gender Identity. Thank you again for watching.